These 5 chefs all want to become the next professional MasterChef champion. Today, they face their first challenge. 3 tests set by Chef Monica Galetti, seasoned diner Greg Wallace, and 2 Michelin-starred British chef Marcus Waring.
Cooking for Marcus Waring is just going to be incredible. He's an idol, and I've got this opportunity to cook for him. It's a chance in a lifetime, isn't it?
I'm very competitive, yeah. I like to beat people with everything that I do.
It's really exciting. I can't wait to get in there and just show them what I'm made of, really.
Only the best will make it through to the quarter-final.
5 new chefs into the MasterChef kitchen. Who knows what they might become?
There's lots of talent out there just waiting to be discovered. I hope it's here.
Welcome to Professional MasterChef. We're kicking this off with your signature dish. Your job is to impress me and the formidable chefs either side of me. Not an easy job, but it can be done.
We want some great plates of food. Try and enjoy what you're doing, and good luck.
This is your signature dish, guys, and you've been thinking about this dish for a long time. Well, at least I hope you have.
You've got 1 hour. Make a statement. Go on, do it.
I've been a chef for about 7 years. I started off an apprenticeship and then I applied 14 times to a big chef in London. I said, just give me a job, else you'll be missing out on a big opportunity, really. And so I got the job. I've been the head chef for about 2.5 years at a large country club in Devon. We won Best Sunday Roast in Great Britain just last year. Service! I think my food shines through and my passion shines through. And that kind of gains you respect. If you've got big passion, I think that gives you respect.
Chris, what are you making for us today?
It's a pan-fried poussin with sweet corn puree, toasted quinoa and a confit egg yolk.
Why is this your signature dish?
Well, when I was younger, I got brought up with chickens on a little small holding, so I respect them very much.
So why MasterChef? What's made you enter MasterChef?
I lack a bit of confidence in food and I want to see how it goes, really, see what you think of my food.
Good cooks in the family?
My dad was a chef, yeah. He hated that I ever became a chef, to be honest. He always told me not to become a chef.
Yeah. This is why you need a confidence boost, Chris, isn't
Yes,
it?
exactly, yeah.
I love the concept. Poussin is such a lovely, lovely flavour. And with the morels and the confit egg, it sounds like a great dish, especially if the egg is going to be the sauce, that beautiful, rich confit egg yolk. It could be delicious.
But crispy quinoa, I'm curious, how he's going to prepare that. I hope it's cooked enough so that it puffs lightly and it's not too hard on the teeth.
I'm working in a busy cafe in Cardiff city centre. I'm part owner and head chef. I started cooking in India. I came in UK in 2007. I cooked in many kitchens, including Michelin stars. Once I'm stable enough, I would love to go back to fine dining and do something of my own. There's still a long way to go, but my time will be there soon.
Goldie, good to see you.
Afternoon, chef.
Listen, I'm standing here in front of this machine and this smells amazing. What is this?
It's palm sugar, normal sugar and egg yolk. That's for my sabayon.
What are you making?
I'm making a traditional Goan dessert. It's called bibinka. To explain to you, it's like layered pancakes. I'm doing a modern take on this. It's a very, very classical dessert. I'm doing passion fruit foam, coconut jelly, passion fruit seeds, and I'm doing a sesame brittle.
Why are you not sticking to the classic style of it?
Because it takes 48 hours in making, chef.
That's a good reasoning. I can't really argue with that one. I've always felt in Indian cookery that the pudding has always been the forgotten part of a menu. So it's really interesting that it's come with a dessert. Kuldeep is making babenka, pancakes with coconut milk sabayon.
It's a classic, but he's putting a modern twist from it. He's adding passion fruit foam to it. He's got coconut jelly and brittles. If I have a worry about this, I hope Kuldeep hasn't tried to change it so much that it doesn't work with the modern techniques in this dish.
Halfway. 30 minutes left.
Well, after college, I managed to get a job in a Michelin kitchen. It's taught me everything that I know now. I'm working in a gastropub in Wiltshire. I'm the sous chef. It is a lot of responsibility for my age, but I sort of like having a lot of weight on my shoulders. We got our first rosette, which is a great achievement. I aim high. The higher you aim, the better your food will be. Well, my goal to have my own restaurant with my own Michelin star. Yeah, definitely my goal.
What are you making for us, Ben?
I'm doing lamb with cauliflower. It's a neck fillet.
Yes.
With a red wine sauce.
Ben, do you have a particular love in the kitchen?
Pastry.
Pastry?
Really?
Yeah.
Ah.
I've always loved doing pastry. And I thought, come out of my comfort zone, just prove that I can't just do one section.
Hang on, Ben. We don't know anything about you. If you weren't coming in here to impress, a great dessert would have done it.
Lamb neck is normally a cut of lamb that's put into stews. It's a good quality piece of meat. It can be really nice and tender as long as it's in your good hands.
He's got red wine sauce going with this lamb. I'm not a big fan of red wine with lamb. I think it's too strong and overpowers such a delicate meat.
Just hope that this is a dish that's going to get him through to the next round so that maybe we can see some pastry later.
The place I'm working at the moment is a little boutique hotel in the middle of Ripon. It's right opposite the cathedral. I am head chef here. I look after a small brigade of chefs. I started out working in the front of house as management for a pub chain. Then I went into the kitchen. Was probably quite a lot older than a lot of the other chefs. Service, please. I'm quite proud of what I have achieved in such a short amount of time. Having good feedback from the judges, the calibre that they are, would mean the world to me.
Lee, tell me what you're making today.
I've got a loin of rabbit which I'm going to pan fry. I'm making a little boudin. I've made a mousse from the leg and liver. Got a carrot puree with some baby carrots and some radish.
That's quite a bit, Lee, in 60 minutes.
Yeah, well, there's no point coming and not trying to show what you can do.
Have you been a chef all your life, Lee?
I didn't start becoming a chef until I was about 24, 25. I've always loved food and thought, you know, I may as well try and have a go at it while I can.
Rabbit, not an easy thing to cook. He's beautifully butchered down the rabbit, taking the loins off the bone, and he's making a rabbit sauce.
Lee's also making a boudin from the legs of the rabbit, and he's put some of the livers through that, which is a great thing to do.
What concerns me, he's not peeled his carrots for his puree. Doesn't look like there's a huge amount of attention to detail.
My dad's a chef on one of the local ferries. He went to catering college and then he went to work for a ferry company, so he didn't want me to go down that route. I started at college after worked in many different restaurants, but I pretty much stayed local. In the last place I worked, I managed to get myself in the Michelin Guide and the Good Food Guide 2 years running, so I must have been doing something right there. At the moment, I'm working in the centre of Canterbury. I've been head chef now for 4 months. I love it here. Passion is unreal. I work lots of hours, I can go up to 60, 70 hours a week, but it doesn't feel like it because I'm doing what I love on a day-to-day basis, and that money can pay for that, really. It's incredible.
Craig, what are you making for us?
It's basically celebration of lamb. So you've got Kiev, the loin, and a little shepherd's pie as well.
Lamb 3 ways.
3 ways, indeed.
I know of a celebrated fine dining chef not far from here who's partial to a shepherd's pie.
Really? Happy days. I hope it'll play off then, hopefully.
Well done, Craig.
Thank you.
Craig is a very confident chef, and he looks really happy to be here. This is hearty British food. I've never had a lamb Kiev before, so that's going to be interesting to see.
He's got the loin and he's rolled it up in butter and herbs and he's letting that sit to really soak through. And a shepherd's pie. That's put a smile on your face.
I've got a feeling that shepherd's pie is going to be knockout. Well, I hope it is anyway.
Just 15 minutes left, all right?
So much going on in this kitchen, such a variety. From lamb to poussin to Indian desserts and even rabbit. I'm really looking forward to it. The energy in here is fantastic.
Just 5 minutes. That's it. Your time's up. Stop.
For his signature dish, head chef Kuldeep has done a version of a classic Goan dessert, babenka, a layered coconut and sugarcane cake with banana passion fruit foam, macerated coconut, coconut jelly, passion fruit seeds, and a sesame brittle.
It's not the best presented dessert plate I've seen there. Kuldeep doesn't actually enhance any of the techniques and then the work that you've used to make the dessert. I hope it tastes better than it looks. It's a very dense cake, and I think it goes well to the caramel flavours of the palm sugar and the coconut. But, you know, it's not all coming together to give you a knockout dessert.
I was expecting a much bigger flavour from the pancakes. Jelly was interesting. I just expected a lot more power, a lot more flavour.
That jelly you made, that tastes to me like a malty milk drink, and I really like it. But the coconut, to me, it ends up tasting like they've been washed, and I've got a feeling of, like, washing up liquid.
To be honest, I took a risk, but I wanted to show something which none of them had tasted before, but then in a way it might have backfired as well. I don't know what's going to happen.
Head chef Lee from Yorkshire has cooked a signature dish of pan-fried loin of rabbit and a boudin made from the rabbit's legs and liver, served with carrot puree, baked baby beets, carrots, radish, and a rabbit jus.
The presentation is orange, very orange.
Those colours are far too garish. I mean, it's the only dish I've ever seen that needs a volume control.
The loin of rabbit, well, yeah, it's cooked. It's only just still moist for me, but there's nothing amazing about it. There's such a light flavour, this meat. You need something to really push it out and make you say, yeah, I'm the star of this plate, but I'm not getting it on here.
The carrot puree, there's so much of it, and it's so wet. You've diluted the dish, unfortunately. It's not quite there.
I'm really happy with the textures of the rabbit, and I think to make the boudin shows a bit of skill. Unfortunately, the main flavour there is the puree, and that is it.
Trying to read the facial expressions, it's just terrifying standing there watching someone taste your food.
22-year-old head chef Chris has cooked a signature dish inspired by his childhood. Poached poussin legs and pan-fried poussin breast, served with a confit egg yolk, crunchy quinoa, sweet corn puree, crispy pancetta, morels, peas, and a poussin jus.
It's a wonderfully dressed plate. I love the colours, and then on a black, they really stand out.
Good.
Poussant's lovely and moist. It's not overcooked. The bacon with your poussant goes really well, but your quinoa, which I'm still chewing on, blanched the quinoa before you actually roast it off. But, you know, there's a lot on this plate that works together.
It's new ideas that I haven't seen before and some flavours that I think are wonderful. Your chicken is seasoned and moist. I love the sweet corn puree. For me, we are a soft quinoa away from an absolute triumph.
You've looked around where you come from, and everything about this is about you. You've not just drummed up something. Love the idea of the egg yolk, but the quinoa,
yeah,
if it's cooked properly, wow.
Cheers. I'm relatively happy. They gave some good feedback. First step on the ladder, I suppose, yeah.
Head chef Craig from Kent has cooked what he describes as a celebration of lamb, with pan-fried rosemary-infused loin, a minced lamb Kiev, and a shepherd's pie, served with mashed potato, carrots, and a pea puree.
It's an interesting idea, Craig. Lamb three ways. Celebration, I'm not so sure.
Okay.
From the presentation. The Kiev, all I can taste is garlic. I cannot taste lamb at all. I've got potatoes twice. The carrots are undercooked. The lamb on top is cooked nicely. It's okay.
There's just a lack of oomph in anything. You know, your shepherd's pie, although the mince is cooked well, there's not a gram of seasoning in there. Pea puree is sweet, but it's roughly made. The best thing for me is your lamb is pink.
There are bits on this plate I really like, but I don't see it as fine dining or even an attempt at fine dining.
Bit deflated. I've worked hard for it the last few weeks, months even. I'd rather do a 120 cover service than do something like that. It's so hard.
Last up is 22-year-old sous chef Ben with his signature dish of lamb neck fillet, served with a cauliflower puree and a cauliflower beignet, pea puree, broad beans, courgette, and a red wine sauce.
That is a classically presented plate of food. It's clean, and I like it a lot.
The lamb neck is nicely cooked. It's not undercooked and it's not overcooked. You've challenged yourself and you've used something that's very rarely used.
Thank you.
But personally, don't think red wine sauces go with lamb. I'd rather have a lamb sauce. But there is an upside. There's a beautiful shine. Look at that. It looks amazing.
I like the ideas, but lacks an oomph of seasoning. And the cauliflower beignets, I expect them to be crispy, but they're very waterlogged.
By and large, there's very little that would stop me finishing that plate, Ben. Your lamb's soft, your sauce is nice, your vegetables are cooked well. Pretty good. Thank you.
Thank you. They enjoyed the fact that I brought in a different cut. I think they can see I've got potential. I think that's what they can see. I've got a lot of potential there.
What do you make of that? Because that was a real mixed bag. There was one young chef that we were all pleased with, and that was Chris.
Chris did very well for such a young chef. He's only 22, and he's accomplishing something that I think is beyond his years, and it's great to see.
He told a story and he delivered it on the plate. Good on him.
So we see Chris in the next rounds, right?
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Whew.
I was happy that they got the story. That's what I'm all about. That's what I always do with my dishes, so if I do go through, then that's all I'll be doing. I won't be told to do anything else, really.
Ben, the young man with a neck of lamb. I liked it. I liked the look of it. I think he had some good flavours going on. I think he had style.
I thought it was quite courageous for him to bring a neck end of lamb to this competition at this early stage.
But I don't know how you can take a cauliflower beignet and make it taste of water.
I'll tell you someone who does concern me a little bit, and that's Lee, with his rabbit and his carrot puree.
Lee's rabbit dish was bright orange and lacked much flavouring in it at all.
It was a basic plate that tasted very average.
I don't do anything unless I want to get to the last hurdle and, you know, make something of it. So it would mean a lot if I could get through.
You both got a bit frustrated with Craig and his celebration of lamb.
The way he worked, I was really expecting something a little bit better on the plate. The ideas are clever, they're interesting, but it just didn't work as a dish.
I just hope they could see a little bit of potential in me. It's going to be a hard wait, but we'll see what happens, not a problem. Go from there.
We had Kuldeep, who made us a Goan pancake affair that none of us could quite understand.
For me, it didn't come together. It wasn't a dessert that I think it should have been.
And I think the dish just lacked flavour.
Maybe Kuldeep's dessert just got lost in translation.
I try to do my best, but I know they all three are very hard to please. I really don't know. Fingers crossed.
Who showed the most technical ability and knowledge? I'm glad we had this chat.
They're all very similar. I'm finding it really hard to pull them apart. But there is one dish that stands out from the others on being a poor dish.
There were mistakes. However, there was a whole lot of potential as well.
The chef leaving the competition is Gregg.
These are some top chefs, and they're the best of the best, you know, and I didn't meet that standard. This time, I was out of luck.
Well done, buddy.
Cheers. Well done.
Well done. You got through the first round. One word of warning, what comes next may push you a little bit hard. We've got 4 contestants waiting. What's the skills test?
Today, I'd like them to use all these Winkles and Whelks to make us a dish of their choice.
Can you make something elegant and exciting out of Whelks and Winkles?
There's a wonderful range of ingredients that they can use. I want to see some creativity here. We're giving them 15 minutes.
That's a lot of time, actually.
First off, I need to wash the shellfish. Just the shallots, a bit of lemon skin and parsley stalk. Start with the whelks first, because obviously they're bigger. Some white wine. And that's just going to quickly steam.
That's lovely.
So in go the Winkles. Shellfish like this needs to be cooked very quickly. Otherwise, you will get something too chewy and you would not be a happy customer. Now, I want to reserve the cooking juice. I'm going to use it as a base for the sauce. So here we have our shellfish that's been cooked. We need to pick all this out. Okay, so it should pop out using a toothpick.
They've got that little black protective cap on top, haven't they?
It's not pleasant to eat. Remove the bottom end bit because that can be quite sandy.
Right, now we're on the big fat whelks.
And I want them in easy sizes that we can bite.
You've got your Whelks and Winkles. You've got the base of a sauce. Now what?
I'm going to use some of the parsley to make an oil as well. I'm going to cook garlic and shallots. Samphire. With the reduced cooking stock, I'm going to add some cream to it.
Froth it up a bit.
Froth it up a bit. There you are, Greg, my Whelk and Winkle dish.
That's lovely. I was brought up with these, and that's probably the best whelk dish I've ever tasted. Old-fashioned, humble ingredients given a new lease of life. I love that.
Well, let's get our first chef in.
In the first round, 22-year-old sous chef Ben was admired for using an unusual cut of lamb.
Monica's skill tests are very nerve-wracking because she's a perfectionist. She likes everything done like this, and if you do it wrong, that's it.
Ben, do you know what they are, out of a matter of interest?
Winkles and... don't know what the other one's, sea urchins?
Sea urchins?
That's a big fat whelk.
OK, whelks, yeah.
We're going to give you 15 minutes to make us a winkle and whelk dish.
OK.
Off you go, mate. If you've never done it, how do you approach it?
I'm going to take the same approach that you would use for mussels. That's what I'm going to go for.
You've had 5 minutes, Ben. You've got 5 minutes left, so plenty of time. All done?
Yes. I've done winkles and whelks with sautéed samphire with a white wine and cream sauce.
I've got a bit of a job on my hands because they're all in the shell.
Yeah.
And they've now got a creamy sauce all over them. Also, they haven't been washed.
Ah, OK.
I'm sure if you were to eat all this up, you're going to find a lot of grit in it. You should know that you got to wash them, you know. Yeah, I'm sorry, Ben, not happy with this.
Yeah, I wouldn't be happy with it either.
Off you go.
Not washing them is a big thing. Not pleased with this.
They put me through thinking there was potential there, and I've let them down, so if I don't do well in the next round, I'm out.
Head chef Kuldeep was praised for his ambition and effort he put into his unusual Goan dessert. But he drew criticism for its lack of flavour.
Monica's skill test, there's an element of surprise. It might be pleasant or a disaster.
Right. Make us a dish of Whelks and Winkles.
I'm seeing them for the first time.
Really?
Yes.
Have you ever cooked anything like those before?
I've done mussels, prawns and lobsters.
Righto, chef. 15 minutes. Best foot forward. Off you go. You've had 5 minutes. Last 2 minutes, Kuldeep. We need to get some stuff on a plate. I don't think you've got time to get any more out. Right, that's it. You've got to stop. How did that go, Kuldeep?
It was bad.
Well, for me as a customer, they haven't been washed. Also, those whelks have still got their protective cap on.
You've managed to get the winkles out, but you need to remove everything in the back here, OK?
No one goes home at this stage. You've got one more round to go to prove a point.
Yeah, I understand that, and I'll try my level best.
Thank you, Kuldeep. Off you go.
Thank you. To be honest, I didn't know what to do with it, and I tried to buy my time by doing other things, but I think I got nervous, and I'd done the damage by then.
For his signature dish, head chef Lee from Yorkshire made rabbit, which was deemed too wet and lacking in seasoning.
There's a million thoughts going through my mind now. If I can relax and just do it instinctively, I'll have a better shot.
You've got a smile on your face. Let's see if it's there at the end of it. 15 minutes, Whelks and Winkles. Off you go, chef. Good lad. Good start, Lee. Tell me, Lee, how are you approaching them?
I'm just trying to think back to everything I've done with shellfish, so maybe Moul's Marnier style.
Sounds like a plan.
A good plan?
Five minutes have gone, Lee. That means you've got 10 minutes left. Right, let's go, come on.
I commend you for washing the shellfish first before you cook them, but you've left the end bits and the winkles. You can see them there. You don't want to be eating any of that.
Rubbery Welkin cream, not the top of my wish list, I have to say, but no grit in there. They've been cleaned, and I think you handled the shellfish pretty well.
Thank you. The skills test with Monica is a lot harder than it looks. You're so full of adrenaline and nerves, and you're trying to remember how to cut an onion. You know, it makes things 10 times as hard.
Last up is 22-year-old head chef Chris, who wowed the judges with the creativity and execution of his Poussin's signature dish.
The skills test daunts me a little bit, but whatever they throw at me, I'll run a load of ideas in my head and see what comes out of it.
We want you in 15 minutes to make us a Winkle and Whelk dish.
OK.
Over to you, chef. Off you go.
So, Chris, what are you going to do?
I'm going to make kind of a beurre blanc. Anything I can put on top of this? Or should I have done it in a saucepan?
You've had 5 minutes, but that's all right. You've got 10 minutes left. You have 5 minutes left, Chris.
So, is that your sauce?
It will be when I've whisked some butter into it.
All done?
Yeah.
I commend the fact you managed to get the shellfish out of the shells. You had a bit of a fight with it, but you did it. I was quite surprised, though, you didn't wash them before you started. But with the winkles, you see that? This part here needs to come off. The whelks, you've cut the best bits off and left them on the board. Real shame we didn't make it on the plate, but it's actually cooked quite well.
Okay.
I'm going to have a go at tasting the sauce and the samphire. It's buttery. There's a little bit of citrus on there as well. You've been sympathetic to the samphire. You've got the taste of the sea coming through. You're almost there, mate. Chris, thank you. Off you go.
Cheers. that food's not what I'm about, so no, I'm not happy with that at all, no.
I'm not surprised that none of them had handled a Whelk or a Winkle. I get to see them because I'm a good blue-collar boy from London, and we've been eating them for years, but I'm not surprised they haven't.
It's really frustrating because every chef that's walked in this door has handled some kind of shellfish. But only 1 out of the 4 washed them.
I think Lee and Chris have actually done OK. But Ben and Coldy have got a point to prove. And they've got to do it in front of Marcus.
Marcus Waring was one of the youngest chefs in the country to gain a Michelin star. The second came soon after. The key to his approach is maximizing the flavors of individual ingredients.
Chocolate is something that we feel is rich and it's luxurious. You're being spoilt with chocolates. It's such an amazing ingredient, and it's something that we love. The dish that I'm going to be making today is a warm chocolate custard with a crunchy coating served with caramel ice cream.
The first task is to make a cold sabayon from egg yolks and sugar. It's one of the 3 stages involved in making a thin sponge that will encase the custard.
So the next stage is a French meringue. Doesn't move. That's a perfect meringue. One of the things I always remember when I was training, every time we took the meringue off the machine, was to put it over my head. If it's a good meringue, it will stay in the bowl. If it's a bad meringue, it's on your head. So be it.
Next, melted butter chocolate is folded into the sabayon.
Start to incorporate our meringue.
Finally, cocoa powder and flour are added to the mixture.
It's an elaborate sponge, and there's a lot of work, but it's worth it. It's almost like plastering, I think. So the next stage, you need to make a classic English custard. It's something we had at school, it's something we had at home. It's sort of my nod to childhood, really. So there we have it.
The finished custard is poured into more melted bitter chocolate.
Beautiful, rich, shiny, and it just oozes luxury. And then they just go straight into the freezer until they're rock hard. And they go straight into the freezer until they're nice and firm. Basically just pop them out like so. They just come out like little butts.
The custard pucks are dipped first in egg yolk and then in crumbled chocolate sponge.
This is just like paneing a piece of fish or a piece of meat with breadcrumbs, but we're using cake crumbs instead. And there we have it, our cake crumbed chocolate custard.
The heat of the oven sets the chocolate crumb into a hardened shell around the warmed custard center.
It's time to plate. Some chocolate. There is my warm chocolate custard with a crunchy coating with salted caramel ice cream. This is as close to chocolate heaven as I can go. Every chef needs a great chocolate dessert.
Welcome back. Good to see you.
This challenge is here to test you, to see whether or not you can pull off a bitter chocolate dessert. we're looking for real creative thinking. Beside us are 2 tables full of ingredients. Pears and oranges and all different types of spices. We've even got some raspberries and vanilla.
We're going to give you 10 minutes to choose your ingredients, then 1 hour to make it. Up you come.
But there are just too many ingredients. We can make a mousse, fondant, soufflé. So we just need to get it correct.
Yeah, I do like desserts. I hate chocolate.
I'm going to take a few risks. Nothing too major, but yeah, I'm going to take a couple of risks. So yeah, I hope they pay off too.
Loads of ingredients that I can do a lot of things with. Loads of ideas, just trying to figure out what ones to use.
One hour, you and the chocolate. Off you go.
I've just got to go into this challenge like it's my last, just give it my all, really. Show that I'm worthy to be here.
So how did you feel when we said you got to work with chocolate?
Very happy.
Ben, tell me what you're doing.
Trying to do a chocolate delice infused with orange, with a pistachio and hazelnut praline base. Just the flavour combinations, just think they all work together, so...
With chocolate work, as you know, balance has to be right. Are you confident that you got your measurements right?
Yeah, I've done it many a time.
Fantastic. Good stuff.
Seems happy, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Good luck.
OK, thank you.
Ben looks like a chef that actually knows exactly what he's doing today.
He's making a chocolate delice. He's going to have a nut brittle base. And he's going to have orange through there as well.
Chocolate orange, we know that works. It's a classic. It's the balance of the acid against the bitterness of that chocolate. He needs to treat it with delicate hand. That's what I'm going to be looking for.
Until now, I don't think I've done anything that I deserve to, have a place in quarterfinals. I'm like a batsman who can't put bat to the ball, I would love to change that today.
Look at this. Very precise. You've got all your measurements and everything.
I started as a pastry chef. I worked 8 years in pastry, so I'm pretty confident with chocolate today.
You should be in heaven then today.
Hopefully.
Kuldip, tell me, what are you making for us?
Chocolate fondant with orange and star anise granita. And I'm doing a chocolate coin through mousse, and it's in a chocolate shell.
Whoa!
Granite, chocolate fondant and a chocolate mousse?
Yes, chef.
In 1 hour?
Yes, chef.
Wow.
It's all or nothing.
It is, isn't it?
Thank you.
Kuldip has realised he hasn't had a very good competition so far. This to him is last chance saloon, and he is going for it. Can he, in 1 hour, make a fondant, a mousse, inside a chocolate shell and a granita?
The chocolate mousse needs to be smooth, it needs to taste of bitter chocolate, and the most important thing, Greg, it needs to be set. If he gets all of these elements right and he pulls off the flavours, the textures, the temperatures and the timings, we could be on for a fantastic pudding here.
Halfway. 30 minutes left.
I think trying to be creative under pressure, you have to just go with the instincts. I think if you're trying to overthink it, it could go wrong. All on me today. All on me.
Lee, tell me what you're doing.
A chocolate mousse, meringue-based chocolate mousse, then a roasted macadamia nut brittle with some cocoa nibs, little raspberry Kool-Aid, and just some raspberries there for texture, and I've got a salt butter caramel.
If you'd have tipped that bowl up and lifted it over the head, would you be covered in meringue or would it stay in the bowl?
No, it would stay in the bowl,
It
yeah.
would stay in the bowl?
It would, yeah.
That's a good meringue. Do you think this is a do or die round for you now?
Yeah. One mistake could be, you know, the difference between staying and going.
Absolutely.
Well, we'll let you crack on. Thank you, Lee.
Thank you.
Lee's making a chocolate mousse, which I love the idea of, and a salted caramel butter, raspberry coulis, and he's got a praline that he's serving with it as well.
Lee's chocolate mousse. The meringue is there to make it light and aerated. The balance of the chocolate with the meringue has to be right. I want to taste the bitter chocolate coming through.
There are 15 minutes left, chefs.
I do a lot of menu planning at work. That's definitely the best part of my job. That's where you can come up with new things and be quite creative. I really want to show the judges something different and really surprise them with different techniques. Just to get noticed as a chef, that'd be great. Yeah.
Chris, do you like chocolate?
To be honest, it's not my favourite ingredient, but I don't mind it.
What are you doing?
I'm doing a chocolate tart served with flourless chocolate twirls, a raspberry coulis and a chocolate soil.
Are you content with this idea?
No, not at all. I like to get a story behind foods. This isn't what I like to do personally. I like it to have more thought behind the dish.
Invent a story behind it, Chris.
I'll try.
Chris is a confident young chef, showing different types of technique. A little chocolate tart. He's got the macadamia nut butter. Again, I'm interested in that. Chocolate twirl. Chocolate earth. Marinated raspberries. Raspberry sauce. He's also made some little meringues as well.
He's attempting lots and lots of different things, which makes me think he's not confident about this task at all. You guys have got 5 minutes left. My spoon's shiny and ready to go. Last 60 seconds. Cool deep. Get it on a plate now. Put that one on the plate or not at all. Time's up.
For his chocolate dessert, Ben has created an orange-infused delice with pistachio and hazelnut base, orange twirl, and an orange peel syrup on a pistachio crumb.
I think it's great. A serious wedge of chocolate there, Ben.
Ben, I think you've done a fabulous plate there. The texture of the delice is nice and smooth, and you've retained that beautiful richness that I was looking for, the bitterness. The balance of the orange is really nice. I love the fact that you put a twirl on, it gives it some texture, and also the nut crunch on the base of the plate. I think it's fantastic.
It's a little rich for me. But when you get some orange and some orange rind there, that sweet sharpness is a very welcome relief from all the richness. I would have one little slice.
Are you cutting back on desserts? That's not like you.
No, I know.
It's very nerve-wracking when they're tasting your food, but when they smile and compliment you, it's a great achievement.
For his dessert, Kuldeep has made a chocolate Cointreau mousse in a chocolate shell with an orange and star anise granita.
There was supposed to be a fondant on here as well, but you ran out of time. The tempered chocolate around the outside is light and it's crispy. The mousse inside is far, far too dense. I love the granita. You've got star anise and you've got orange in there as well, and I like that a great deal.
The granita's good. You know, it is a nice flavour. I would definitely agree with Greg, but I've got to focus on the chocolate. Mousse is almost like it's split and it's gone grainy.
Yes, my execution and my planning suffered a little.
If the fondant had been on the plate, even without the rest, and it had been done properly, we wouldn't have this problem.
Today I just wanted to push my boundaries. It's just a shame that I couldn't pull it off.
Lee's chocolate pudding is a meringue-based chocolate mousse. Roasted macadamia nut brittle, raspberries, raspberry coulis, and a salt butter caramel with cocoa nibs.
I love all the flavours. All the flavours. The chocolate, the nut, the salted caramel, even the sharp sweetness of raspberry I enjoy. But the mousse needs to be a lot lighter. I mean, that is really dense, thick and sticky. If you threw that at me, it would take me a good couple of showers to get it off, I think.
For me, it has a texture of almost a raw cake mix. And I want to taste the bitterness of the chocolate. But because you've added meringue to it, I'm just getting a very sweet finish on my palate.
OK. The end result of the mousse wasn't how I wanted. Let myself down a bit. I could have done better, so, you know, yeah, I'd feel quite disappointed.
Last up is Chris. He's created a chocolate tart with a macadamia nut butter base, chocolate soil, mini meringues, raspberries, raspberry coulis, and a chantilly cream.
You like a story behind your food, I know that. Is there a story behind this?
No, but there's a lot of passion in this dish, and it's about all I can give it, to be honest.
This is about testing you as a chef and seeing how broad your shoulders are.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as plain sailing. So please don't be deflated, Chris. We haven't even eaten it yet.
I really like your tart. I really like the quality of the chocolate. I like the salty little bit that I get in the buttery base. Once I stick a lump of vanilla-flavoured cream on there and pick up a little bit of sharpness of raspberry, I'm as happy as you like.
Good.
I actually think that the dish is a little bit on the sweet side, especially with the chocolate soil. And I'm looking at the base and I'm thinking biscuit or a crunch. And I didn't get that crunch.
Yeah,
it's the texture.
That's what everyone does. I want to do something different. I didn't want to do a biscuit base like everybody does.
I know what everyone else does, but I'm looking at what you're doing. It doesn't work because I'm looking for a texture.
Yeah, true.
OK? I don't think that the base brings much to the table. The meringue, not cooked very well, I can see, and the raspberry's an easy option. For me, it doesn't work.
OK. I think it went quite well, to be honest. I thought it was a relatively good dish, and that's all I'm hoping for, so yeah.
So, Monica, how was your skill test?
It was a tough bunch for me. These four just seemed out of their depth. They really had to impress on the next round with you to make a difference. Any standout desserts?
There was one dessert that stood out for me. Ben, he had a fantastic little chocolate orange theme going on. For me, his was the standout dish of the day.
Ben, for me, struggled. He didn't wash the shellfish, left the whelks and the winkles in the shells, and then covered them in creamy sauce. No, that's not what I wanted to see.
I messed up on the skills test, but I think I've pulled through, and hopefully it's enough to put me through to the next stage.
Lee was the only one that washed the whelks and the winkles and managed to get a few of them out of the shell, but the dish at the end wasn't as good as I'd hoped.
Lee today made a chocolate mousse. The weird thing about it was the mousse had a texture, a raw cake mix, and incredibly sweet. I'm just a little bit unsure, to be really honest.
Yeah, I've had a few good comments, a few bad comments. It could well be me that goes home, hopefully not, but I have to wait and see.
Kuldeep in the skills test, in the last sort of 5 minutes, decided to deal with the whelks and the winkles. But he was so up against the clock then, there was no way he was going to complete it.
I admire Cold Eat's bravery today. It was about make or break for him. This was his big last chance, but for me today, Cold Eat completely hit a brick wall. I can only judge him for what he put on the plate, and that was a little bit on the poor side, to be fair.
If it is only about the plate, I don't think I've done enough to go to the next round.
Young Chris, on my skills test, he trimmed off the best bits of the whelks and left the middle bits with all the intestinal parts, which was a real shame, but possibly one of the nicest plates of the 4 that I saw.
Chris's chocolate mousse was sat on a macadamia nut butter. The actual main chocolate was interesting, it was fine, but for me, the macadamia nut had 0 texture and 0 flavour. Today, I just felt that he was out of his comfort zone a little bit and a little bit of attitude. But I expect that from a 22-year-old. I like Chris. He's challenging, and I like to be challenged.
Obviously, Marcus wasn't happy with that dish, but then again, Greg loved it, so I don't know, anything could happen.
Marcus, we've got 4 chefs here. We're going to have to nitpick to decide which one has to leave today.
I personally think it's very clear who's going home.
And I really did say to you, you had to impress on Marcus's round to make a difference. The chef that is leaving us today is Gregg.
Cooking it for Marcus Waring and Monica, I think it was fantastic. They're very, very honest. They make you realize where you're wrong and where you're brave or where your potential is. It was fantastic to cook for them.
Speechless, can't describe. Really happy, really happy.
I just want to show my passion for food, really. If I go through or not, I don't really care. I want to just show my passion for food.
Getting into the quarterfinals of MasterChef, means a lot. It's quite a big step so far, so I'm pretty happy.
Next time, it's the quarter-final. And the chefs must prove themselves to Marcus and Monica.
Wow, you've surprised me today.
Only the best of them will get to cook for the critics.
This is big, rich, serious cooking with a touch of hedgerow thrown in.